Hi, I'm Simon Doull and welcome to Kiwi Bred. This winter I've put away the bat and the ball and walked out of the commentary box to take a look at the thoroughbred breeding industry in New Zealand. Over the next couple of months we'll visit some of New Zealand's top thoroughbred studs and talk to the personalities that run them. We'll also catch up with breeding news from Australia and Asia, and we'll take a look at some of the great work being done by veterinarian Tim Pearce. We start this week's show with a visit to the Oaks stud in Cambridge, and I asked Rick Williams about the fairy tale that is Darci Brahma.
He's been one of those stories that hard to imagine really. A top price yearling of his year, a champion 2-year-old, champion 3-year-old, and at 4 New Zealand's champion sprinter, and with 5 Group 1s under his belt and with his pedigree, he came to stud, and that's always the hardest part, I think, a stallion making it, even though they've been successful in their race career, and it looks like he's doing just that. He's made a phenomenal start.
How is he around the stud? How do the staff find him to handle and to deal with?
Oh no, he's a gem. He really is a gem, and he's looking forward to the breeding season, as you'll see when he comes out today. But no, he's a very quiet horse. He's always been straightforward, and we've been very lucky.
And with his foals, with his progeny, how does he stamp himself? I mean, what traits do they have that are his alone? Yeah,
well, he's a double bay, and they do look a lot like him. They've got very good hindquarters and lovely head and eye. I think that's the first thing you notice about the foals, just the quality of the head, the eye, and their relaxed nature. And the reports I've been getting back is that all of them seem to just have his temperament, and they can move anywhere, shift anywhere, they eat well, and of course if you can do all those things, they can train you and get you fit.
Did you expect them to be so good so early on? I mean, we talk about a dream start, but you couldn't have asked for much more.
No, we couldn't have, and I mean, we all knew, and I kept making it clear to the syndicate that you know, he was entering, once he retired as a racehorse, he was entering the toughest stage of his career, because we all know most stallions fail, you know, no matter how good they were in the race course. But this fella looks like he's going to do it all. It's exciting, and his book's full, which was quite remarkable. I didn't expect that to happen so quickly. So I think the broodmare owners out there recognise what a great start he's made, and they've backed their money and gone with him.
The Oaks fillies are fighting out the Oaks. Wide out post on quintessential. Artistic and Zarella Lynch. I think maybe Artistic. It's very, very close.
And already the sire of 2 individual Group 1 winners, so a dream start.
It is a dream start. Artistic, it was a great result for obviously us, but for the Darci Brahma syndicate as well. But you know, this horse in Singapore is a sensational horse, Super Easy, and I had a chance to have a good talk to Michael Friedman at the January sales at KARAKA, and he's trained a lot of good horses in Australia. He said he's right up there at the Group 1 class in Australia, and I hope in the spring they bring him out and prove it.
What impresses him the most with Super Easy?
Well, he's a beautifully relaxed horse, and if you've seen Darci Brahma, as you will today, he's the same sort of horse. You could take him anywhere, travel him, and a lot of champions are like that. They have to be nowadays to maintain racing at Group 1 level. But you know, not only has he left 2 Group 1 winners, he's left a filly that was very unlucky, our Miss Jones, in the Group 1 South Australian Oaks, and you saw West Southwest run 3rd in the Queensland Derby on Saturday after running 3rd in the South Australian Derby. So he's had a lot of horses go very close to winning more Group 1s, and he's got, I think, 10 other black type winners already. So if you look at him at this stage of his career compared with some of our top stallions that are now established top stallions, he's way ahead of them at the same stage of his career.
Malandrino starting to release in the middle and went bang with 200 metres to go. Malandrino sprinted away from them. Estrado fighting on. Glad's arriving the last little bit and right down the outside post for a stomp, but woohoo, what a win, Malandrino.
Darci Be Good below the 200, just in front. Cute Little Alliance on the outside is trying hard at the 100. Darci Be Good just in front. Cute Little Alliance with a late challenge, but Darci's done it. Darci Be Good beat Cute Little Alliance, Ambidexter 3rd and 4th, just the tonic.
Looking ahead to 2013, the Darci Brahma foal sold very well in the first year of the sales, but what do you expect from next year? Because it perhaps tapered off a little bit in the 2nd and 3rd year?
It definitely did, Simon. They sold above expectations on the first year. It was a phenomenal result for the horse. Second year is typical, really, second year blues with any stallion, but of course Darci went to the track as a 2-year-old at the time of the yearling sales, so you know, he was an autumn 2-year-old, and we had very few runners before the sales, so there was a lot of wait and see aspect second year, and this year, to be honest, I was disappointed. I thought they'd sell better. He had had a very, very good ready-to-run sale in November, but they didn't make the money I was expecting. Mind you, Premier Session, not Select Session, but Premier Session at KARAKA was patchy right through. But I think his big results have been since the yearling sales, I guess, and they've come out and won in their numbers. So I would expect year 2013 to get back to somewhere where he was in his first year if the demand stays the same.
And the price, I mean, how do you come about the price of Darci Brahma, and was there any thoughts to upping that this year?
Oh, there were definitely thoughts about putting the price up. It was something I had a chat with some of the other guys in the syndicate and a few people outside the syndicate, but you know, times are tough, Simon. It's been a tough time for broodmare owners that have been paying service fees over the last 3 or 4 years. I just thought it was a time to thank the people that have supported the horse through the first 4 years of his career, and this was their opportunity. We gave the people that had supported the horse the first opportunity to come back to him, and they all jumped at it. And so, you know, what happens in the future, he's got to maintain his momentum, and but you won't see the service fees that you saw in Australia with reduced choice and cost, not in a long time, I don't think. I think the service fees have to remain realistic. We're seeing a foal crop drop 300 or 400 a year, and if we want to maintain a breeding industry, that our foal crop might be down to 3,000 very shortly. So if we're going to maintain a breeding industry above that and maintain a racing industry, we're going to have to be very careful about setting our service fees.
You're getting plenty of repeat business. What sort of mares are coming to Darci this year?
Well, he's never lacked for a good book in terms of quality and quantity, and we're getting a similar book again this year, maybe a few more high-profile mares by the look of it coming in, but he's never lacked. He's been one of those lucky horses. He's been well supported every year. And so I'm not expecting to see his progeny tail off or any slump in performance of his progeny because of that fact. And
you're supporting him with some of your top mares from the Oak stud as well?
Yeah, well, Sea Change, interestingly, they met 3 times on the racetrack. It's 2-1 to Sea Change, but Darci got his own back in the breeding shed, I think, earlier this year, so she's involved in him. But yes, we've always supported him with our best mares that suit him. And of course, he's by Dane Hill out of his Zabeel mare, so he sort of rules out Dane Hill and Zabeel mares, so you've got to be a little bit careful, but as far as type goes, I don't think it makes any difference to him. He seems to leave a very even line of horses.
And with Darci Brahma standing at just $20,000 plus GST, he already has a full book of mares to serve this year. Time now for our first thoroughbred health pieces with Dr. Tim Pearce and his team from the South Rangitikei Veterinary Services.
Today we're looking at the branding of thoroughbred thanks to International Animal Health Products. We were with Tim Pearce today and we watched the process of a horse being branded. Tim, can you just talk us through that?
Yes, well, it's a process that is basically to identify the animal so that it can be seen on by anyone and verified who it is, and that comes down to later in its racing life. There are some criteria that are set by the international racing authorities that require certain minimums, and in our system in New Zealand we basically identify the animal with a marked drawing, colour, white markings, whorls and so on. We take hair sample, which is then sent with that identification paper to verify that it is by the stallion out of the mare that it's claimed to be. And part of that process of identification also involves now microchipping, which is a coded chip that's implanted in the nuchal ligament in the neck. It has a 13-digit number which is unique to the animal and is related to the database that's held by NZTR in their stud book. And in New Zealand, as in Australia, we also do a thing called freeze branding. And freeze branding is a process where we put a cipher on the left-hand side and a number on the right-hand side in this country, and it has a unique number for that horse. And it's very, very useful with for management of horses, because it gives you a handle on what their age is and gives you a heads up. You don't need a special scanner, you can just see it. So that's part of that process. Certainly when you're branding them, they're marks that stay with them for life, and you want to make a good job. It often bears your name, and you'd like to think that it's as neat and tidy as possible. So being sure of your facts, getting the correct horse, the correct markings, and doing a good job is really important, because these animals are, you know, hopefully are going to go on and be group winners, and we'd like them to be presented as professionally as they can be.
With the branding of a horse, with breeders out there and studs, is there a time frame that they need to get these horses identified by?
New Zealand Racing have basically, they give till the 31st of July in that first year, and we do brand the odd one beyond that, but normally most of the branding takes place after the yearling sales. Normally from February the big studs would start, and normally at about the time that they're weaned, and we get some of them that will straggle on often through into July.
At branding time as well, it's a good opportunity for the vets to take a good look at these young thoroughbreds, sometimes for the first time. What other things do you look for when you're branding a young thoroughbred?
I think that it's a good opportunity to see the general health of the foal. It's also a really, really good opportunity to see any obvious things such as limb deformities or any of the problems that may be able to be corrected at times, such as that perhaps a trim, or there may be something that we can do with nutrition that can help those foals be presented later as yearlings, and later after that as racehorses in a better light. We generally at that time have an opportunity also to start their vaccination program, and some foals are often done prior to that depending on their circumstances, but generally speaking, that's part and parcel of that visit, and it's a good opportunity to start that process off well.